My spouse suggested a 2-week trial separation to evaluate our relationship. By the third day, she was sharing photos online with another guy, so I shut down her experiment faster than she could react. I'm a 32-year-old man, and I met Emma, a 30-year-old woman, when I was 27. We've been married for 3 years, together for 5 years total. I'm a licensed welder, earning $95,000 annually on large-scale construction projects. Emma works as a front desk clerk at a mid-sized company in the city, bringing in roughly half my income. The home we share is mine. I purchased it 2 years before our wedding with funds from an inheritance, and it's titled solely in my name. We divided household costs about 70-30, reflecting our income disparity. Emma paid for groceries, utilities, and some home upgrades, but the mortgage was always my responsibility. Our first 2 years of marriage were steady. Typical adjustments like debating who'd wash dishes, bickering over the AC settings, or dreaming of trips we couldn't yet afford. She wanted a European vacation. I prioritized paying off the mortgage quicker. Standard newlywed compromises. The house, a 1950s bungalow, I renovated myself. I secured permits, handled most of the wiring and plumbing on weekends, built a workshop in the garage, restored the oak floors, and upgraded the kitchen with quartz counters and modern appliances. I invested about $40,000 and 2 years of labor into it. The property's now worth around $280,000 in a rapidly upscaling neighborhood. Trouble started 8 months ago when Emma reconnected with her old college friend, Lauren. Lauren had returned to town after a bitter divorce, childless, collecting $2,500 monthly alimony from a tech entrepreneur who'd been unfaithful. She lived in a chic downtown condo, frequented bars every weekend, and posted Instagram reels about embracing life and never settling. My best friend, Nate, dubbed her the Guru after meeting her at a cookout. Nate, my buddy since college, is a software engineer, blunt, drama-verse with a sharp, dry wit. He sized up Lauren's designer purse and fake lashes in one glance and called her out instantly. Lauren, 28, platinum blonde, was the type who thought having a hot take on everything made her fascinating. She always lingered a bit too long with her smiles, laughed too loudly at my quips. I dismissed it as her being overly friendly back then. I should have seen the signs. Lauren would pull up to our place in her leased Audi, dressed like she was headed to a rave, always armed with some new relationship wisdom that sounded like it came from a self-help blog. The woman was a walking cautionary tale. Divorced after 18 months, no real skills beyond spending her ex's money, and radiating the kind of forced optimism that makes sane people cringe. But Emma was hooked. Suddenly, Emma started bringing home new theories about relationships. How we'd gotten too settled, how marriage shouldn't feel like cohabitation, how thriving couples push each other to keep the passion alive. It was all regurgitated nonsense from whatever podcast Lauren was obsessed with that week. The arguments began small. Why wasn't I more spontaneous with date nights? Why was I always at work late? Why didn't I get possessive when other guys chatted her up at social events? Textbook manufactured conflict, but I didn't catch it at first. I was neck-deep in a massive commercial project. A 12-story office tower downtown, 3 months delayed and $200,000 over budget, the kind of job that could define or derail my career. I was clocking 60-hour weeks, sometimes working Saturdays, trying to keep the project from imploding. But according to Lauren's relationship gospel, my dedication to our financial stability was evidence I didn't prioritize our marriage. It's almost comical in hindsight. By December, we were clashing twice a week, always the same script. Emma would nitpick something trivial, blow it up into a personal attack, then act baffled when I didn't match her intensity. I'd try to address the issue logically. She'd accuse me of being emotionally distant. The Christmas argument was about the tree. I'd worked a 12-hour day wrangling engineers and city officials, came home drained, and Emma was upset I wasn't enthusiastic enough about the tree she'd picked out. Not that I disliked it, just that I wasn't visibly thrilled enough. Nate nailed it. She's inventing issues because her divorced friend thinks marriage should feel like a soap opera. I started staying at work longer, partly due to project deadlines, mostly because home felt like navigating a battlefield. Emma took that as proof I didn't value our marriage, a perfect catch-22. What I didn't realize was that Lauren wasn't just filling Emma's head with bad advice. She was nudging her toward exploring her options. The tipping point hit on a Thursday in January. I got home around 7 p.m. not even that late, and found Emma at the kitchen table, looking like she'd been practicing a speech all day. She'd eaten dinner alone, which was new. "We used to wait for each other, even if it meant eating at 9 p.m. We need to discuss our future," she said. I grabbed leftover fried rice from the fridge and sat down. The rice was cold, but I was too hungry to care. "I've been reflecting on where we're going. I think we need a pause," she said. I stopped mid-bite. "A pause, not permanent, just a week or two to see how we feel apart. To rediscover why we chose each other." I knew exactly where this was coming from. Lauren had been feeding her this narrative for months, how her ex-husband only valued her after she left, how distance strengthens love. I'd heard this story before. My friend Mike went through it 2 years ago. His wife wanted a break to find herself. She found herself all right with her personal trainer. Cost Mike half his retirement savings and $1,800 a month in child support. "You want a separation?" I asked. "Just a short break to see if we miss each other, to see if you'll fight for us." There it was. The real motive. This wasn't about space. It was about making me chase her, proving my devotion through desperation. I looked at my wife of 3 years, sitting there with her rehearsed lines and tactics straight from her toxic friend. Something in me just shut off. Instead of arguing or pleading, I shrugged. "All right," I said. She blinked, stunned. "All right, if that's what you want." Her face showed instant disappointment. She expected me to protest, to grovel, to make some dramatic gesture. Instead, I nodded and went back to my fried rice like she'd asked me to grab bread from the store. That's when I knew our marriage was likely done. Not because of her request, but because she was upset I didn't fight it. She craved drama over resolution. I texted Nate right after she went to bed. "Emma wants a marriage break." His reply came in 20 seconds. "El Mao." "Let me guess, the guru's brilliant idea. What's your play?" "Letting her have her break, see where it goes." "Smart. Nothing screams, 'I love you' like fake relationship tests." Nate was optimistic about the timeline. We set ground rules that night, 2 weeks of acting single. She'd stay at Lauren's, no contact unless it was about the house or emergencies. We'd reassess after 14 days. The next morning, she packed 2 bags, work clothes, and enough casual stuff for 2 weeks. I helped load them into her Toyota Corolla and watched her drive off. The house felt different instantly, calmer, not in a bad way. I could watch basketball without lectures on toxic masculinity. I could eat tacos for dinner without dissecting the emotional weight of my food choices. For the first time in months, I felt at ease in my own home. That first night, I ordered a large pepperoni pizza, popped open a soda, and binged the entire Terminator series without anyone critiquing action films for promoting harmful stereotypes. It was fantastic. Nate swung by that weekend with takeout from our favorite Thai spot from college. He brought his laptop, and we spent hours setting up a fantasy baseball league for next season, something I hadn't had time for in ages. "So how's the bachelor life?" he asked. "Pretty great, actually. Watched 3 hours of basketball yesterday without someone explaining why sports are emotionally stunting." Nate nearly choked on his green curry. "She actually said that. Among other things, apparently my interest in the Lakers' playoff run was blocking my emotional growth. That weekend, I did something I hadn't done in years. I reviewed our finances in detail. Joint accounts, savings, credit cards, Emma's student loans I'd been helping pay. I cataloged every shared asset and debt. We had $35,000 in joint savings, $15,000 in a shared checking account. Her student loan balance was $28,000 for a communications degree that landed her a $45,000 job greeting clients and booking meetings. I'd been paying an extra $400 a month toward it for 2 years to clear it faster. I also documented the home upgrades we'd done together. She contributed about $8,000 toward materials and appliances over 3 years, mostly for the kitchen. I'd done all the labor and put in $32,000 of my own cash. Monday morning, I called my lawyer, Tom, not to file anything yet, just to understand my rights. Tom explained Texas divorce law, asset splits, and what I'd face if things went south. The house would stay mine since I bought it before marriage. The improvements were murkier, but since I'd done the work and paid most of the costs, I'd likely keep most of the value. By week's end, I'd moved half our joint savings to a separate account. Legal, since it was marital property and I had equal access. I redirected my paycheck to my personal account instead of the joint one. Emma texted once that first week. "Hope you're reflecting on us." I showed Nate the message. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means the guru told her you'd be a wreck by now, begging her to come back. Instead, you're probably the most relaxed you've been in months. Must be throwing her off." By day 10, Lauren made her move. Tuesday afternoon, a text from an unknown number. "Hey, you holding up okay?" We'd never texted one-on-one before. I kept it brief but polite. "Doing all right, this is strange." "I know, right? Emma's been so stressed. Maybe we could meet for coffee and talk." Instead of shutting it down, I played along. "Sure, could be helpful." We met Thursday evening at a Starbucks near her complex. She showed up dressed like she was going to a party, tight red dress, full makeup, perfume strong enough to knock out a bear. For coffee with her friend's husband during a marriage crisis. Her dress was low-cut enough that I could see everything when she leaned forward for her cappuccino, which she did often, real subtle. "I feel awful about this whole situation," she said, leaning across the small table. "You two seemed so solid." "Sure," I thought. "That's why you spent months telling Emma we were stale." "Were we, with all the fighting lately?" "That's just her being unsure. She doesn't know what she wants." Lauren touched my hand. "But I can see how much this is hurting you." Her nails were manicured in some glossy black shade that probably cost $50, the kind of upkeep that screams high maintenance. I let her hand linger for a moment before pulling back. "It's been tough. If you ever need to talk, I'm here, anytime." The conversation went on for an hour. She talked about how I deserved better, how Emma didn't value what she had, how if she were married to someone like me, things would be different. When we left, she hugged me a bit too long. "This was nice. Let's do it again soon." I drove home and called Nate. "You're not gonna believe this. Let me guess, the guru's already picking out engagement rings?" She practically threw herself at me, dress cut to her waist, touching my hands, talking about how I deserve better. The woman's got the patience of a starving piranha. Of course she does. She probably had this planned before she even pitched the break to Emma. "It's like a 3-step guide to wrecking a home. What's your move? Play dumb. Let her think she's being sneaky while I document everything." Over the next few days, Lauren escalated. Daily texts checking on me, suggesting meetups, sending photos with captions like "thinking of you during this tough time." The photos were strategic: her at the gym in leggings, her at a cafe with eating alone again, her by her complex's pool in a bikini. Each one crafted to remind me what was on offer if I played along. Nate was loving it. "Look at this one. Hope you know how special you are." Is she a motivational poster now? Next, she'll send you quotes about seizing the day. I replied just enough to keep her hooked, acting vulnerable and open to her attention. Then she went for it. Friday evening text. "I have something to tell you, but I'm not sure if I should." "What is it? Can we meet? This isn't for texting." We met at the same Starbucks. She seemed nervous, checking her phone like she expected an interruption. "I feel terrible, but you deserve to know." She took a deep breath like she was delivering tragic news. "Emma's been seeing someone." I let the right amount of shock show. "What?" "His name's Ryan. She met him at a work conference last month. I've seen them together. It's not innocent." Ryan, per Lauren, was a marketing exec from Austin. Mid-30s, divorced, drove a Mercedes, worked for a tech firm, the type with a LinkedIn headshot of himself gesturing at a presentation. "You're sure? I saw them at dinner last night, very close. And she's been lying about where she goes when she leaves my place." Lauren took my hand. "I'm so sorry, I know this hurts, but you needed the truth." The message was clear. Fight for a cheating wife or move on to her loyal friend who'd never do this to me. What a coincidence. I played the heartbroken husband perfectly. "I can't believe she'd do this." "You don't deserve this. You deserve someone who appreciates you." I went home and did what I should have done sooner. I checked our shared devices. Emma left her tablet at home when she moved out, still logged into her iCloud. The password was saved from when I helped set it up months ago. Her texts synced across her devices. I found 3 weeks of messages with Ryan. They started innocently: work talk, complaints about a client's indecision on logo designs. By week 2, it turned personal. Gripes about our marriage, how she felt undervalued, how Ryan made her feel wanted. The recent texts were blatant: plans to meet, talk of their spark, photos I didn't want to see. The timestamps showed she'd texted him during our break, including right after her "thinking about us" message to me. I screenshotted everything and backed it up to my cloud. 47 texts over 3 weeks, including a dozen photos and several voice messages I couldn't bring myself to hear. Then I checked our joint credit card statements. 3 pricey dinners at upscale restaurants in the past week, places like the Capitol Room and Vespera. A hotel charge from 2 nights ago at the Hilton downtown, $280 for one night. All on days she told Lauren she was running errands or meeting colleagues. The hotel charge was the clincher. She'd used our shared visa to pay for a room where she was hooking up with another guy while expecting me to wait like a fallback option. I called Nate, found it, she's been seeing some guy from Austin. No way. Credit card receipts, hotel charges, 3 weeks of texts planning their meetups, it's all here. Damn. So Lauren convinced Emma to take a break so she could cheat, then ran to you with the info like a loyal friend. That's some next-level scheming. What's her goal? She's betting you'll be so grateful for her loyalty and so crushed by Emma's betrayal that you'll fall for her. Classic rebound play. She ruins your marriage, then presents herself as the better option. Well, she's about to learn how that pans out. I called Tom Monday morning. I've got proof of infidelity, texts, hotel charges, restaurant receipts. Good. Bring it all to my office. We'll draft the papers. Tom spent an hour reviewing the evidence, reading the texts with the calm professionalism of someone who'd seen this 1,000 times. The texts are airtight. The financials back the timeline, and it was all legally accessed. With this, you're looking at keeping the house as separate property, 60 to 65% of joint assets, and no alimony obligation. She lost her leverage with the affair. How long to prepare? 3 days. I'll make it bulletproof. Those 3 days were surreal. I went to work like nothing was wrong, managing the construction project, now back on track and under budget. Came home to a quiet house, ordered takeout, watched shows without anyone judging my taste. Meanwhile, I kept up the heartbroken act with Lauren, letting her console me about the awful news she'd shared, listening to her rant about what a terrible friend Emma was. I can't believe she'd do this to you, Lauren said at another coffee meetup, after all you've done for her. Some people don't value what they have. Exactly, I thought, playing along. But maybe this is happening for a reason. Maybe you needed to see her true colors. She took my hand. And maybe I needed to see who you really are. Nate nearly fell over when I told him. She said that with a straight face. Maybe I needed to see who you really are. What is this, a rom-com?